Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Power Rangers Season 2, Episode 4 of my show, but this is about Episode 3 of Season 2. Now, before I start talking about it, I just want to mention, this video I'm going to be talking about is the last episode of the 3-part season opener. So after this episode, there still will be, if I'm remembering correctly, there will be, I think, probably three more 3-part episodes after this, but those won't be until the 40 segment. Well, actually, there will be, I think, let's see, there's the Ninja Encounter, and then there's the wedding, and then the Return of the Green Ranger. So there will be 3 more 3-part episodes after this last 3-part video is up, but those won't be till later. I just wanted to get that out of the way. Anyway, this is History of Power Rangers Season... Now getting into the actual episode. This is History of Power Rangers Season 2, Episode 4 of my show, but this is about Episode 3 of Season 2. And Episode 3 of Season 2 is Part 3 of the 3-part episode, The Mutiny. Now, again, just like the previous video I did, this episode starts where Part 2 left off. And basically, Jason wonders why he doesn't get... I can't remember, but one of the Rangers says that, why did the Zords, stop attacking? And, so on and so forth. And then, I think it was Zach who asked why the Zords stopped attacking, and then Jason said he didn't know. And then, then they see the Piranhtis Head monster again, and then it starts attacking them again with the Zords, and then basically, then it goes over to where, Billy is in a laboratory with Trini finishing up the signal blocker, and then basically what happens is, Zordon contacts Billy on his communicator to ask him if he's finished his signal blocker, and then, basically, Billy said that he's not quite finished yet. Then Zordon tells them that that device is their only hope to get control of their Zords back. And they have to hurry to fix it. They have to hurry to finish it, and then it goes to where Jason is, and he tells the Piranhtis Head monster that they may not have their Zords, but they can still take them out. Well, he said that they may not have their Zords, but they can still take him out. And then the Piranhtis Head monster makes a little boast where he tells the Rangers that they don't stand a chance against him with their Zords protecting him. Well, 2 of their Zords protecting him, and then he said that it's time to play, and then the Zords start attacking, and then after that, basically what happens is then it goes back to where Billy is. And then after that, what basically happens is Billy tells Trini that his blocking device was a little rushed, but he's sure it'll work. Well, first what happens is the Power Rangers just decide to Well, so then, basically Billy and Trini morph to where, the other Rangers are, and then they try to use the signal blocker device, and then Billy presses the button to activate it, but the signal blocker doesn't work. And then, well, what happens is, after, basically, I'm gonna get into it with Zedd for a second here. He says that the Power Rangers' efforts are futile. They'll never regain control of their old Zords and stuff. Because that was the whole reason Billy created the signal blocker device in the first place. And then I just wanted to backtrack there for a second. I just wanted to cover that little part there. Now, this video might be a little shorter because I should have probably mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but this video might be a little shorter than my other ones. Basically because not very much happens in this episode. Like, aside from them getting the new Zords and defeating the monster and so on and so forth. So not really much happens in this episode. There is a little bit of a funny thing with Billy's character, and I'm gonna explain about that when he shows up with the signal blocker. Anyway, Jason decides, after that, Billy said that his signal blocker was a little rushed, but he's sure it'll work, so he and Trini morph to their Ranger forms to meet up with the other Rangers. And then Trini tells the others that Billy's got his signal blocker, and he sets it up and activates it. But when he activates it, it doesn't work. And Billy said that he doesn't understand why it's not working, because based on Alpha's data, it should have worked based on Alpha's data, but it didn't. Basically, Jason tells some of the Rangers to help Billy figure out a way to fix the signal blocker, like figure out what's wrong with it. And then Jason decides that they need to bring the power blaster together. But then when Alpha overhears that on the viewing globe, he tells Zordon that if the Rangers use the power blaster to destroy the old Zords, they won't be able to take control of the new ones. And then basically Zordon tells Alpha to have faith in the... Like, I don't think Alpha was being negative. I think he was just... In this segment of the episode, he was... I guess it was kind of worried. The reason why I say it was kind of worried was because I guess he was worried because of the fact that if the Rangers destroyed their old Zords, their new Zords would basically become inoperable. Which kind of makes sense, because they need the old... to take control of the old Zords in order to gain access to the new ones. So, it makes sense in this case why he was a little worried. Anyway, they combine their weapons to create the power blaster, and then, Jason says that, after they create the power blaster, Jason said that he tells the others that they'll go for the old, basically, fake-out routine. Now, basically, what he meant by the old fake-out routine was originally they were going to try to aim it at the Zords, but it was just deployed to get Piranhtis Head to let his guard down. And then they decide, and then the Piranhtis Head monster's like, hey, what? No fair! And then they blast the Piranhtis Head monster. And then after that, what basically happens is Jason tells the others to help Billy figure out the problem with his signal blocker, and then he figures out what the problem was. And this is going to sound kind of funny, but the reason it didn't work right at that time was because Billy put one of the batteries. He put the batteries in upside down. That's why it didn't work. Oh my god, I'm sorry, but that's kind of hilarious. I just had to laugh because of that. I'm sorry. And then Tommy says that he's about the genie thing, and then he puts the batteries in the right way, and then he activates the signal blocker, and then it's kind of in the nick of time that it did, because the Tyrannosaurus and Dragon Zords were about to stomp on them when they did, so it was better late than never that it did. And then, when Zedd sees that, he gets mad and he slams his fist down and he's like, "This is impossible! No! I will not tolerate! This is impossible! No! I will not tolerate being outsmarted by those Power Rangers!" And then Goldar tells Zedd that the Rangers have regained control of their Zords. And then Zedd's like, "Not for long. I'll strip the Zords' power and return them to the earth from whence they came." And so he basically, by that he means he's going to send them back into the ground, which basically destroys them. And then basically what happens is, when Jason and the other Rangers see that, they notice that their Zords are being destroyed. And then Jason's like, he freaks out about the Zords and he says no. And then basically what happens after that is Zordon tells Alpha that in order to prepare, like, he tells Alpha to move the Zords back to their hiding places and encase them with static power, and with luck there will be enough left of the old Zords to bring forth the new ones. And then basically Jason tells Tommy that he's got to be quick because Lord Zedd hasn't gotten to the Dragon Zord yet. And then after that, Tommy says that he's right. He'll send him back to the sea where he'll send the Dragon Zord back to the sea where it'll be safe. And then he plays his Dragon Dagger flute. And he tells the Dragon Zord as his little friend to return to the sea. And then Jason tells him that he had to do it. And then Tommy said that there was no way he was going to let Zedd get the Dragon Zord too. And then the Rangers go back to the command center, and they tell Zordon about how they lost their Zords. Like, Jason said that they lost their Zords, and then I think it's Kimberly or Trini, one of them mentions about one of the female Rangers, they say that they can't believe this is how it ends. But then Zordon tells them that actually I think it was Trini that said that, and then basically Zordon basically explains that Alpha managed to save enough of their old Zords in order to create the new ones. And then Alpha kind of makes a little bit of a few boasts where he basically says that it was nothing, and then he gets into some technical babble, and then after that he tells the Rangers that it is nothing, and then anyway, their new Zords are activated and ready to go. and they can call on them, and then Zordon says that they're Zords with incredible power, and then Zordon tells Tommy that his powers are too weak to support a new Zord, and he apologizes, and then basically well, actually, after the Piranhtis Head monster, I think the Piranhtis Head monster was brought back because, if I'm remembering correctly, Zedd decided that now that the Rangers' Zords were gone completely, it was time to finish them off, so he summoned up his potion, which, as I explained, that's how he makes his monsters grow. Is he uses his potion, and I explained this in his character bio, he summons up a potion and throws it down to Earth, basically, and then the monsters catch it, and then they toss it on the ground, and basically, in a sense, they kind of make themselves grow. Anyway, the Piranhtis Head monster catches the potion and pops the top off of it and then slams it down on the ground. And then, basically, after that, the Rangers realize that, the Piranhtis Head monster has grown to a huge size and is attacking the city. And then Zordon tells the Rangers that it's time for them to call on their new Zords. And he tells Tommy that his powers are too weak to support a new Zord, and he apologizes to him about that. And then Tommy says, he's okay, and managed, he's okay with it, and then basically, the 5 of the 6 Rangers go to deal with the Piranhtis Head, and this is where they summon the new Zords. And by summoning them, what they do is they say the name of their old Zords and then their new Zord, and then they say the word Thunder Zord power, and then basically their Zords combine. And then after the Zords combine, after Zedd sees the Zords, he's like, Zordon and his surprises. Well, they're not going to save him this time. And then, after that, the Rangers basically use the Zords to, they fight the Piranhtis Head monster, like, after, well, actually, the thing where Zedd said that is after, because Alpha kind of makes a little bit of a water-based pun with the Piranhtis Head monster, and he tells the Power Rangers to reel in that overgrown guppy and send him back where he came from. And then when they use the new Zords, Zedd realizes that the Rangers have them, and then as I said before, he's like, Zordon and his surprises. Well, they're not going to save him this time. And then Zordon basically tells Alpha to tell the Rangers to have their Zords come together to form the Mega Thunder Zord, which basically, the Mega Thunder Zord is basically the Season 2 equivalent of the Megazord from Season 1, except with a slight difference. The lion is the bottom part of the body, the red dragon is the main part of the body, as well as the and the Firebird is the back part, like the bottom, like the waist part of it, and the unicorn and the griffin are the leg segments, and the lion is a part of the bottom part as a symbol on it. And then after that, when Tommy sees the new Zords in action, he's like, wow, he's impressed with the new Zords. He said they were amazing. And then Alpha tells him, yes, but he also tells them not to be sad because they'll find some way to get his powers up to full. And then the 5 Rangers continue battling the Piranhtis Head monster, and they manage to defeat it. And then after that, Zedd gets upset that his monster was destroyed, and then basically he's like, and then basically Goldar says that he's sorry his plan failed, His Excellency, but then Zedd tells Goldar that he didn't fail, they failed, he failed, they all failed, just like they failed before. And Finster kind of made a little bit of a boast where he said that if Zedd had used one of his monsters, this wouldn't have happened. Which is kind of ironic, considering that all of Finster's monsters have failed to destroy the Power Rangers. So, anyway. And then basically what happens is after that, then it goes into a scene where Zordon is with the Rangers back in the command center, and Zordon is congratulating the Power Rangers on an impressive new beginning. And then they're wondering about Tommy and the Dragon Zord, and then, they're wondering about Kimberly's wondering about Tommy and about his Dragon Zord. Will it be able to go through another fight? And then Zordon explains that the Dragon Zord must conserve what little energy it has left, just as Tommy's powers periodically fail him, so it shall be with the Dragon Zord in this case. So it's kind of a connected thing. And then after that, after Tommy gets a little upset that he's not, because he's still one of the Rangers, he just, like I said, he remains it for the remainder of the first season until a certain point in the second season, until a 2-part episode. I just wanted to get that out of the way. And then Jason tells Tommy that what is he talking about, he'll always be one of them. And then basically what happens is after that, then Alpha looks through the viewing globe at the rally, and he sees that Bulk and Skull are still under the effects of Piranhtis Head's magic. So the Rangers go to free their bikes from Piranhtis Head's control, and then they use the signal blocker, and then after that, they use a device to stop their off-road vehicles from going out of control. And then after that, basically what happens is after Kimberly and Tommy meet up with Bulk and Skull, Bulk and Skull tell them about what happened with the fish and then the Power Rangers, and then they basically say that they're gonna find out who the Power Rangers really are, which is, as I stated in the character bio, that's what their purpose is going to be for the entire second season and the first little bit of the third season. And then after that, the Rangers decide to finish the race, and then Mr. Kaplan basically says that the leaders of the race are entering the home stretch. And then that's basically where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it, just please give this video the real best you guys can, and I will see you guys probably maybe sometime next week for the next video. So until then, guys, because I might post this video tomorrow. So until next time, guys, like I always tell you with this series, may the power protect you always.